Guys, my name is Victoria Sinis. Welcome back. I have an assumption this is just going to be called the Creating Gems podcast. I have no idea, so let's just roll with that. But today, I really want to deep dive for you guys into the actual inner workings of OnlyFans, of the agency that I worked for, and really help to uncover the ecosystem that's behind this. And an excellent quote that I heard from someone else who's in this industry said that people don't understand they're not the consumers, but they're the ones actually being consumed by this. So my intention of really deep diving into this and breaking it down for you is so you can understand how much you're being softly manipulated and how influential this is in all spheres of your life. And it's really manipulating you into believing things that probably aren't very good for you. So, to take it back to how I actually started working for an OnlyFans agency. So, I briefly mentioned in the episode before of kind of where around about kind of what happened. But basically, I was working for one of my friend's businesses and I was smashing like 100-hour work weeks. I went away for a month and I came back and I was like, I can't keep doing that. Like, it's just too much. And so while I was away for a month, one of my other close personal friends had actually started a OnlyFans agency. And the reason that they had started an OnlyFans agency is because they actually were an ex-criminal defense lawyer and they got out of the industry, so very highly educated. And one of their close personal friends is very well known in the OnlyFans world, had a pretty decent social media following, and they were complaining about their agency. And so this close personal friend of mine was like, "Oh, well, I have a really good educational background. You can be like the face, and we'll get Vic, who has a background in businesses and startups and marketing, and we'll get her to help. And like this can be a pretty sick business." So I come back from America. I come back from Europe, and yeah, I get approached by one of my friends and they're like, "Hey Vic, we've kind of started running with this business. We want to create an agency." Two of the owners, yeah, were OnlyFans girls. And so my friend was like, "We think that this could be a sick business and it can make us a lot of money. Are you interested?" So I was like, "Yeah, like, of course." For me, I was like, I can't keep working in hospitality. It's ruining me. And this seems like fun. And I didn't really know a lot about OnlyFans. And I think that this is a really common thing. A lot of people have heard of this term, OnlyFans, and it's just been interjected into our culture and it's just there now. But no one really understands where it came from, or what it even is or what it means. And we have these fluffy terms like OnlyFans content creator, OnlyFans model. And I think that it's so eloquently put because it really deceives what OnlyFans truly is. If we said, "Hey, do you want to sign up for a porn platform and create porn?" That sounds very different from, "Hey, do you want to sign up for OnlyFans and be a creator?" So for me, I was like, I looked at, I guess, the culture around me. I looked at social media and the people that I knew in that world. And I was like, oh, well, I don't really know what this thing is, but I've heard that you can make a lot of money from it. And I think that it's liberating. Like, I see a bunch of naked women on my social media, anyways. Everyone's bombarded with mainstream influencers who are basically half naked all the time. So I think it's empowering. And so, okay, seems like you can make a bunch of money. Seems like it's empowering. I think this is a positive. I've heard heaps about OnlyFans somehow. Okay, sick. Why not? And so that was kind of my lens going into it of why I thought it was okay to work for an agency. But just for people that aren't actually aware, the original intent of OnlyFans actually, it's been around since 2016. And I think this is quite interesting. And the original intent of it was basically to decentralize mainstream social media. So you kind of only had like Instagram and Facebook. And as we know, it's increasingly more and more difficult to be able to have some sort of presence and financial gain on these platforms. So OnlyFans came out in 2016 as a way to decentralize that. So just say if I really loved cooking, I could jump onto OnlyFans and I could cook, but it's behind a paywall. And so you have to pay to see me cook. But then the whole allure is that, oh, I can actually message Vic and be like, "Wait a minute, how much did you put in that?" Or "I tried baking this way and it didn't really work." And so you can now get paid to be able to create content behind a paywall, but you can have communication with your subscribers in a more intimate way. Then there's these other things called like pay-per-views. So I could then, if I wanted to, all of my subscribers every single day, send them locked paid content of me cooking. Because, hey, you wanted help and advice with that? Beautiful. Pay $5. I'll give you a deep dive into how to bake. And so you can see that it actually kind of had like pretty like smart intentions to begin with. It's a different way for people to make money and all of that. But what OnlyFans had is this thing called not safe for work. And so not safe for work is the terminology that's used on social media for porn. So X, you have not safe for work content, Reddit, not safe for work content, and OnlyFans, you have not safe for work content. And so in 2020, OnlyFans really blew up as a porn platform. People are in lockdown, they don't know what to do. So everyone defaulted to OnlyFans and started to basically create content and realize that you could make a lot of money really quickly by just getting naked behind a paywall. And so that's where this phenomenon really took off. And we really kind of saw the rise of OnlyFans. And so that's just a little bit of trivia because I find it interesting of like how the origins of it actually kind of began. And so now it's just predominantly like a porn platform. So I saw a study that 98% of content on OnlyFans is not safe for work content, so adult content. And in that same study, it said that 500,000 people a day are signing up for OnlyFans. So if 98% of the content is porn or pornographic in nature, I think that the math is like that means 490,000 people globally every single day are signing up for porn, basically. So this is how big of a phenomenon this has gotten to. And this will all make sense for deep diving into the agency. So a little bit of trivia for you, a little bit of information on it to hopefully set the context of the gravity of this platform. So come back and I've just been asked to work for an OnlyFans agency. And I was like, sick, let's go for it. So in the beginning with any startup, for people that aren't really aware, it's not like you can kind of just like jump in, you're making money, you're on the books, whatever. A startup means you're basically starting up from scratch. So for about 6 months, I was in like this unofficial consultancy role, I guess you could say. As I said, one of my friends was the owner of this business. So every single day going over after I do my full-time job and just helping to build the foundations of this business until we get to the point where I can actually quit my job and come on the books officially at the agency and get paid. So during this 6-month period, I'm not actually seeing the back end of OnlyFans. So how this works is kind of stage one, and stage one is account management. So the whole point of OnlyFans agencies is basically to run girls' accounts on their behalf. And why that's significant is because, as I said, the allure of OnlyFans is that I can communicate with my subscribers directly. And so the reason why it's so popular is because people aren't going onto Pornhub and just kind of watching a nameless and faceless person. Oh, that girl that I follow on Instagram, I can now follow her on OnlyFans and we can have a conversation. We can build a relationship. I can ask her to do things and I can actually like get to know her. And so that's why there's been such like a pull and like an allure to OnlyFans. So that's all a part of account management. And account management is, if you have a look at this, like, again, kind of like logistically, if a girl has like 500,000 followers, are you gay? If a girl has like 500,000 followers, just say on Instagram, but, and then she's got, thousands of followers on her OnlyFans, she can't facilitate all those conversations 24/7, 7 days a week. So she has to offset all that work. So that's why she hires an agency. So the main role and responsibility of an agency is to pretend to be the girl. So at our agency, what we were developing is how to basically best represent being the girl. And so the way that it would work is this, is a girl would come, they would be like onboarded, and they would have this thing called a questionnaire. And so the questionnaire was as much detail as possible about the girl. So her height, what was her favorite movies, food, sexual positions, the clothing sizes, like every single minute detail that we could think of that mattered, we would put into this brief and we would put into this questionnaire. From the questionnaire, a brief gets made. And so this brief is basically a play by play of the girl. And that brief then gets given to these things called chatters. And so chatters are people that you hire traditionally from third world countries, and they're paid very little. They're paid anywhere from 1 to 5 USD an hour. And their role and responsibility is to pretend to be the girl to make as much money as possible on these accounts, impersonating the girl. So a girl gets onboarded, she does the questionnaire, a brief gets made, and then that brief gets sent to the chatters. And so our chatters basically would have like a certain amount of girls that they were allotted to each shift. And they would be on this back end. So it's like a third party plugin. And this third party plugin would be able to go and log into all like the different OnlyFans accounts. So then that way the chatter could jump between all the different accounts and be chatting on all of them. And so then all they would have to do is be on, make Stephanie's account, look at her brief. Then they could be on Jess's account, look at her brief. Then they could be on Courtney's account and look at her brief. And so this chatter is sitting there for 12 to 14 hours a day, up to 7 days a week, just sexting, pretending to be the girl and making as much money as possible. And so this is actually like a sales role and a commission-based job. So every single day they had to hit quotas and we had a spreadsheet for it. And then they would have to say, like, did they hit their quota? Why didn't they hit their quota? And all of that. And so you can see how much of like a sales job this is for people. This isn't you coming on and basically having a relationship with a girl. Involved in account management as well is basically running all the content side of the account. So girls, people think that you can kind of just jump onto OnlyFans and like kind of post here and there and like it's super easy. But the requirements that are needed is actually insane because the volumes that are coming through. So on OnlyFans, there's this thing called a vault, and a vault is where all of your content is stored. And you have to post on your feed. You have to post like on your page. You have to post on social media. And then you also have to have enough content to be able to do pay per views and also fulfill custom requests. So there is a massive volume amount of content that this girl is required to create to be able to facilitate a high volume of sales. So it's a full-time job just creating the content to be able to put out on your OnlyFans. So one of our roles as account managers is to make sure that the girls are fulfilling their content requirement. And so that's basically keeping them in check of, hey, have you uploaded this amount of content? Hey, have you done this? Hey, we need this. There's a custom request that's waiting for you. I need you to fill that out. So your role is to manage the girl. And so again, I hope that this can help people to understand and really shatter the illusion that girls just can jump on and it's a bunch of fun and you just film some things and it's really cutesy. It's like, no, there's such an organized system behind this. And a lot of the time, these girls are getting pressured to produce more content, to get things out there. And it's all under the guise of, well, you want to make money, don't you? And the reality is it's actually quite difficult to make money on OnlyFans. And so as well, I hope that this helps to shatter the illusion of a lot of the time people think that the girls want to do this. In that questionnaire that we had these things called levels. And this is how deep the psychology runs in this. And I think that this is really important for people to understand this, especially people that pay for girls' OnlyFans, because you guys think that the girls want this and that they like this. A lot of people who consume pornography or who are sex buyers in general, the main feedback is that there's this allure, there's this storyline that comes with the girl. But when their humanity is revealed, it destroys it. And so you think that you're coming on and you're talking to this girl and she loves it and all these things. But the reality is you're probably talking to a chatter. It's not the girl. You're being manipulated and coerced into getting as much money extorted from you as possible. And we train the chatters in this thing called the girlfriend experience. Then on top of that, in the questionnaire that we give them when we're onboarding them, there's these things called levels. And so the levels is basically what content level are you comfortable at? So what level of porn are you comfortable doing on your OnlyFans account? And this is really important because girls will come in And they might have in their minds that I just want to jump on and I'm just going to take photos in my bikinis or in my lingerie. And I hear a lot of that as a very common thing. Oh, you can just jump on there and like maybe take some like cute little photos, like Instagram vibe ones, and make a bunch of money. And the reality is, no, you can't. And so what we would do is would get these girls to fill out levels. Level one was uh, Instagram content, so bikini and lingerie. Level two was implied nude. Level three was level three was full nudity. And then level four was everything but ANAL. And then level five was everything. So can you imagine the psychological kind of tactic that is? That if you're coming into an agency, you think that you're going to be at this level, you get this questionnaire, and you see that if I start here, I actually start at the base, I start at the bottom. Oh, to be able to perform, to be able to do well, I must need to get to that level. There's like a whole psychological thing about that. And so these girls are being inaugurated into this system, and they're already told the baseline level of what they need to do and how they need to perform. So again, it comes back to shattering that illusion that girls want to do this. There's such a soft manipulation and soft coercion to get girls to do more extreme from the get-go. So that's really important just to note. So we come back into account management. And that's basically the rundown of what it is. It's a very well-oiled machine, and there's so many other depths to go into of how this is a global industry. We were chatting to people in Germany, we were chatting to people in the Ukraine about different tactics, how to promote girls on Reddit, how to promote girls on Twitter, how to promote girls on dating apps, every single platform that you can think of. And globally, people are doing this. There's even a subset of an industry that I found in Telegram holes of like OnlyFans content planners and ways to maximize and all of this. And so there's a whole industry that is behind pushing out OnlyFans to give the illusion that these girls want to do it. So literally an industry behind the scenes can make a bunch of money off you. That's why we have to understand that we're not the consumers, but we're the ones being consumed by this industry. So that's account management. And then we come into what I was doing, which was marketing. And so marketing was basically, how do we promote these girls' accounts on social media to pull people in? Again, a lot of people think that, oh, I don't have to have a lot of followers. I can just jump on and do this in secret and I'll just make a bunch of money. Well, what happens with that is we see statistics like the average wage of an OnlyFans creator is $180 a month. And that's because so many people are jumping on thinking that they don't have to do anything. They post all of these pictures, they don't earn any money, and then that's actually on the internet forever, and you really can't get it down. So my role was to be like, okay, how do we make girls go viral? How do we put then people into funneling systems to end them up at OnlyFans? And then what that's also doing inadvertently is promoting to other girls of, wow, look at these people. They all do OnlyFans. They love it. They're getting rewarded, the likes, the views, the followers, X, Y, Z. Therefore, I want to do it. And that's why we see in our culture so much that there's just a generation of girls that want to do OnlyFans. It's because they see all these women getting rewarded online. But what we would do to be able to get people to go viral on at the agency is we actually hired an expert who would study trends and algorithms. And every single day, this guy would send very specific curated provocative content to us. And we would have to send it to the girls. And what we would ask the girls to do, and this was a requirement, is to have 3 to 5 TikTok accounts. And every single day on those TikTok accounts, they had to post 5 unique videos per account. So all of those videos that we were sending, this very specific targeted provocative videos, they had to recreate across all these accounts. So technically speaking, we were asking these girls to create 20 unique videos every single day on top of all of their content requirement for OnlyFans. And the point of that is you can literally manipulate the algorithm like to go viral. It's actually really not that difficult. And so if you're pumping out that type of volume, this hypersexualized, very innuendo type content, very targeted like captions and stuff. So one of the trends that was around at the time was it was like a vanity mirror. It was like a vanity, sorry, and those little makeup compacts that were up with the mirror facing. And would get the girls to be in lingerie and would scan across it, but the caption would be, "Did you see it?" And so then you're like, did I see it? Did I see what? What am I supposed to see? And so you keep watching and watching and watching so you could see the thing. And then when you finally notice it, it's like this dopamine hit of, oh, I want to see more. And so that's how intentional this type of content is, to be able to suck people in basically. And then before you know it, you're at a rabbit hole and then you're at someone's OnlyFans. And so we had one girl that was doing these techniques on one video in 7 days. She got to 2.2 million views on her TikTok. And so this shows the magnitude of this. And that's why we have to also really understand that when you're jumping on social media, you are being bombarded with very specific curated content that is either trying to softly influence you to join OnlyFans, or to think that doing something like OnlyFans or any type of pornography or any type of sex work in any capacity is okay and a positive. And then it's softly manipulating men into being like, this is a desirable woman. She loves this. This is what I want. And it's tapping into both sides, which is why we see this as such a phenomenon now. And so that's really important to understand, again, of you are not consuming, you are being consumed. And so with that, again, as I said, there's so many other levels we could deep dive into, but we were promoting on Reddit, and on Reddit, you can post anything. And so you're having to post hardcore content just to get people to your OnlyFans account. So that's a whole like beast in and amongst itself. And again, that ties into, you think that you can come on OnlyFans and just do some cutesy things. But then when you come and join something like an agency, or even you'll just realize on your own, whoa, this is a whole beast in and amongst itself. And there's so many other levels of what I actually have to do to be successful. In 2023 or 2021, in 2021, there was 2.1 million creators on OnlyFans, and only 300 of those 2.1 million made more than $1 million a year. So the margin is very low for people that are actually making a lot of money. And so the realisticness, as I said, is you're going to jump on, you're going to see how competitive this is. You're going to post a bunch of really, really full on content that you probably didn't want to do in the first place. You're not going to make a lot of money from it. And to get your account taken down is really difficult. It's not easy. And so then you're stuck with this online for forever, potentially. And so that's a reality that we need to understand. And again, it's because we're softly manipulated by social media to think that this is easy, this is a positive, and it's a get rich quick scheme, but it's not. And then the third element is recruitment. And so there's so many recruitment tactics that people use. And I've actually heard that now OnlyFans recruiters go to influencer parties to try and recruit girls. But what we would do for recruiting is basically we would scour the internet, and you would look for very specific requirements of girls that looked a certain age, that posted particular content, had a certain amount of followers, and you would cold message them. And so we had a front page Instagram, and this Instagram was showing elite parties, showing, hanging out on yachts and going to bougie dinners and all of this stuff. And we would say and we would message from that account that had all these followers and all these things, and be like, hey, we love your vibe. We love how you look. Have you ever considered doing OnlyFans, or have you ever considered representation? And so you'd see this profile and you'd see all of this glamour and how amazing this is, and come join this sisterhood to entice you to come join OnlyFans. And one girl that we had that we recruited looked young. She fit that criteria. We were specifically targeting girls that looked young. And we actually got her out of a modeling contract so then she could come do OnlyFans. That's how manipulative and persuasive agencies are. So we have to, again, understand that if you're posting this type of stuff, you might think it's innocent. You might think like it's just a bit of fun. But there are genuinely predatory people out there that are scanning, looking for this type of content, and looking for these type of girls to manipulate you and to coerce you into doing things like pornography. And it's very real. And that might be a little bit heavy to say, but we have to understand that that's happening, because I was one of those people that was doing that, and it worked. And so I'm hoping that just in explaining the three main elements of an OnlyFans agency, we have now been able to understand the ecosystem and honestly the industry that's behind it. People think that the porn industry and sex trafficking and all of that is on this side, and then like OnlyFans is on the other side, and they're totally separate, but they're the exact same thing. It is just as dangerous, it's just as predatory, and it's just as detrimental to our culture. And we're seeing that now through how many men are addicted to porn, young girls that are jumping on this, and just the destruction of relationships and society in like a really big way that we've not had, because we've not had this type of exposure. So That was really heavy, and I know it was, but it's just the truth and the reality of what's happening behind the scenes. And so I'm hoping and just educating you guys and going as deep as I can without overwhelming you, hopefully. You can really understand that you're probably I hope that you can now really start to question your free thinking and your free will about jumping on something like this, thinking that this is okay, thinking that this is a positive, thinking this is liberating, because I'm hoping you can understand that there's actually a major industry. I think the porn industry is 97 billion dollar industry, and that is now fueling uh, this phenomenon that we're seeing through OnlyFans and through our culture. So yeah, this is just a very brief deep dive into an OnlyFans agency, the reality of it. And I hope that this is just a way to be able to start to shatter that illusion on you thinking that this is something that's a positive. And we can really start to be countercultural in the way that we perceive sex work, full service workers, OnlyFans, pornography as a whole, now that we understand really how intentional it is at targeting you. So that was really heavy, but I hope that you guys enjoyed that episode. If you do have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And next episode, we're really going to dive into this concept of femininity now that we're seeing how much women are kind of attacked and manipulated and coerced. What does it mean to actually be like a woman and to be feminine in this day and age? So super excited to dive into that with you guys next time.